There's a mysterious story buried in the pages of the Bible, one that speaks of ancient beings, of a divine rebellion, of giants who once walked the earth. It's a story so strange, so otherworldly, that many have either dismissed it or distorted it. But what if I told you that this story holds a key to understanding not only the ancient world, but also the future? Today, we uncover one of the Bible's most controversial and fascinating secrets, a truth hidden in plain sight in the book of Genesis. This is the forbidden story of the Nephilim. Grab your Bible and maybe a notebook too, because what we're about to explore will challenge everything you thought you knew. Let's begin at the source. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4, introduces us to a passage that has baffled scholars and theologians for centuries. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. When the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, they were the heroes of old, men of renown." So here we have three groups: the sons of God, the daughters of men, and the resulting offspring, the Nephilim. But who exactly were these beings? Let's begin with the sons of God. The Hebrew phrase used here is B'nai Ha-Elohim, which appears elsewhere in the Old Testament in the book of Job to describe divine or angelic beings. Not men, not descendants of Seth, actual celestial beings. The early Jewish understanding, supported by the Book of Enoch and other ancient texts, is that these were watchers, a group of angels tasked with overseeing humanity. But something went terribly wrong. According to the Book of Enoch, these angels descended to earth, lusted after human women, and took them as wives. This unholy union produced children, giant, hybrid creatures called the Nephilim. These beings were not merely large, they were abominations, unnatural and powerful. They became tyrants, corrupted the earth, and brought great violence. And this, the Bible implies, is part of the reason why God sent the flood. The Book of Enoch, though not included in the canon of most Bibles, was widely read in ancient Jewish and early Christian communities. In fact, it was even quoted by Jude in the New Testament, lending it credibility in the early church. In Enoch, the watchers are described as descending upon Mount Hermon, where they make a pact to carry out their plan. Their leader, named Semjaza, and others like Azazel, are said to have taught humanity forbidden knowledge, alchemy, weapon-making, astrology, sorcery. It was a spiritual corruption that mirrored the genetic corruption taking place through the Nephilim. The Nephilim in Enoch are described as giants of insatiable hunger who eventually turn on humanity, devouring everything in sight, including people. They begin to kill one another, causing devastation so severe that it reaches heaven. God, seeing the utter chaos, pronounces judgment. He orders the archangels to bind the fallen watchers in the abyss and destroy the Nephilim. Their physical bodies are killed, but their spirits, according to Enoch, become the evil spirits that torment mankind to this day. Yes, demons. This gives a whole new dimension to the spiritual realm, implying that demons are not just fallen angels, but the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. Now consider the timing. Genesis 6 introduces the Nephilim, describes their birth, and then, immediately, God declares that he will wipe out mankind with a flood. This isn't just about human sin, it's about something more insidious. The earth wasn't just morally corrupt, it was genetically corrupted. The presence of these hybrid beings was an affront to the natural order that God had created. The flood, then, wasn't just a moral reset. It was a biological cleansing. It was divine surgery to remove a cancer that had spread across creation. But here's where the story takes an even more unexpected turn. Genesis 6-4 says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward. Also afterward? That one sentence has launched countless theories. The Nephilim were supposed to be wiped out. The Watchers were bound. The flood was complete. But when the Israelites entered the land of Canaan, they encountered tribes described as giants, the Rephaim, the Zamzummim, the Anakim. These weren't ordinary people. They were described as terrifyingly tall, with great strength and fearsome reputations. In Numbers 13:34, when Moses sends spies into Canaan, they return with this report. We saw the Nephilim there. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. So how did the Nephilim return? One theory is that some of the fallen angels continued their rebellion after the flood. Another theory is that the Nephilim bloodline survived through the wives of Noah's sons, carried unknowingly through generations. In Deuteronomy and Joshua, God commands the Israelites to completely destroy certain tribes. Many have asked, why such harsh judgment? Could it be because these tribes were not fully human? Even Goliath, the Philistine warrior defeated by David, is described as a descendant of the Rephaim, standing over 9 feet tall and wielding massive weapons. He had brothers, all large and powerful. Could they have been the last remnants of the Nephilim? Why has this story been forgotten or dismissed by so many modern churches? The answer lies in church history. During the early centuries of Christianity, there was a deliberate movement to create a more structured theology. Church fathers like Augustine reinterpreted sons of God to mean the godly line of Seth and daughters of men, to mean the ungodly line of Cain. This allegorical approach became dominant. At the same time, books like Enoch were removed from the canon. While some Christian groups like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church preserved it, the Western Church turned away from these supernatural interpretations. Why? Possibly because they were too uncomfortable, too strange, too difficult to explain to the average believer. But that doesn't make them untrue. In fact, many ancient texts and even archaeological discoveries point to the existence of giant beings, massive skeletons, megalithic structures, and global myths of demigods and sky beings. The Nephilim story has echoes in cultures around the world. From the Greek Titans to the Sumerian Apkallu, the idea of gods mating with humans and producing hybrids is universal. Here's where things get even more intense. In Matthew 24-37, Jesus says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." What was happening in the days of Noah? The Nephilim, the corruption of flesh, the rebellion of angels. Could Jesus be warning us that the last days will involve similar events? Today, we see humanity entering uncharted territory. Genetic manipulation, cloning, AI merging with biology, and transhumanism. Could these be modern parallels to the ancient corruption? There are even modern testimonies from military personnel and researchers claiming that giant humanoids have been discovered in remote areas. Giants with red hair, 6 fingers, and double rows of teeth, matching descriptions of the ancient Nephilim. Are we on the verge of a return? Are the Watchers still influencing mankind from behind the scenes? The line between science fiction and biblical prophecy is growing thinner by the day. So what does this all mean? It means the Bible is far more mysterious than we were taught. It means that spiritual warfare is real and ancient. It means that understanding the Nephilim gives us insight into the nature of evil, the judgment of God, and the battle between heaven and hell. It means we must be alert, discern the times, know our scriptures. The story of the Nephilim may seem like a myth, but it's embedded in the sacred text for a reason. It's a warning, it's a clue, and perhaps it's a prophecy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Were the Nephilim real? Did they survive the flood? And are they coming back? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you won't miss the next deep dive. This has been Nephilim, the forbidden truth hidden in Genesis. Until next time, stay curious, stay watchful, and keep searching for truth.